Night was falling quickly over the deserted road as Sarah and her friend Mike drove through the storm. The torrential rain turned the road into a mirror of water, and the windshield wipers were unable to keep up with the intensity of the downpour. Sarah, a fearless young woman known for her relentless curiosity, was behind the wheel. Mike, her best friend since childhood, was next to her in the passenger seat. The trip that was supposed to be a weekend getaway had turned into a nightmarish journey due to the unpredictable weather. "This storm is getting out of control," Mike commented worriedly as he looked out the car window. Lightning streaked across the dark sky, illuminating the road ahead at irregular intervals. Sarah nodded, gripping the steering wheel firmly. "We need to find a place to shelter and wait until the storm passes." Visibility was getting worse, and the road started to become dangerous. It was then that, as they turned a bend, they saw a gas station on the side of the road. The dim lights flickered intermittently, and the place looked lonely and abandoned. "Look over there, a gas station," Sarah said, relieved to finally find a place to stop. "Maybe we can rest a little and wait for the rain to pass." Mike agreed and instructed Sarah to turn around at the gas station entrance. The car slowly approached the rusty old fuel pumps, and they finally stopped next to them. The rain continued to fall heavily outside, but at least now they were protected from the worst. Sarah turned off the engine and sighed in relief. "I hope the storm doesn't last long. At least we'll have a place to shelter." However, as they looked around at the abandoned gas station, a feeling of uneasiness began to come over them. The place was completely empty except for a single car, an old rusty sedan that looked like it hadn't moved in years. The station's lights were dim, casting ominous shadows that danced across the area. The rain pounded against the car windows, creating a frightening sound that echoed through the darkness. Mike looked around suspiciously. "This place looks like something out of a horror movie, Sarah." Sarah agreed, but the need to refuel the car and escape the storm forced them to stay there, at least for now. She opened the car door and ran to the station, feeling the freezing rain soak her clothes as she ran. The car's windshield wipers moved slowly, trying to keep visibility to a minimum in the storm. Mike watched as Sarah grabbed an old gas pump and began filling the car. As they waited, Sarah noticed a door ajar at the back of the station. Her natural curiosity led her there. The door creaked as she pushed it open, revealing a small, dark, dusty room. Sarah hesitated for a moment, but then entered the room and turned on her cell phone's flashlight to illuminate the gloomy environment. The walls were lined with shelves covered in strange objects, such as broken dolls, dusty old books, and aged photos. A musty smell hung in the air, and Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. She examined the strange objects curiously, wondering why anyone would have left everything there. That's when her eyes fixed on an old, dusty mirror hanging on the wall. Her reflection showed a shadowy figure standing behind her, a figure that hadn't been there when she entered the room. Sarah's heart sank, and she quickly turned to confront the figure. But there was no one there. She was alone in the dusty room, with only the distant sound of rain outside. With shaking hands, Sarah left the room and returned to where Mike was waiting by the car. She didn't mention what she saw, fearing he would think she was crazy. As the rain continued to fall and the wind howled outside, Sarah and Mike remained at the abandoned gas station, unaware that the night still held many dark mysteries for them to uncover. As Sarah and Mike waited at the abandoned gas station, the uneasy feeling wouldn't leave them. The inside of the station was as gloomy as the outside, and the dim light from the lamps flickered erratically, casting unsettling shadows throughout the place. The two friends decided to explore the station, looking for something that could explain the strange sensation they felt. Sarah was especially intrigued by the mirror in the back room, where she saw the reflection of the shadowy figure that wasn't there. Mike looked around the main area of the station and noticed the dusty shelf full of strange objects. Broken dolls, old books, and worn-out photos covered the shelves, creating a sinister atmosphere. "This is getting more and more bizarre," Mike muttered, eyeing the objects suspiciously. Sarah was about to respond when his eyes fixed on the antique mirror hanging on the wall. Her reflection showed a dark figure standing right behind her, as if she was watching. Her heart raced, and she turned quickly to confront the figure. This time, however, the figure did not disappear. She stood there, looking directly into Sarah's eyes with empty, lifeless eyes. It was a tall, hooded figure whose face was obscured by the shadows of the hood. Sarah took a step back, terrified, while Mike ran into the back room upon hearing her scream. He found her frozen in front of the mirror, her eyes fixed on the shadowy figure. "What is this, Sarah?" Mike asked, trying to remain calm as he observed the enigmatic figure. Sarah couldn't find the words to describe the terror she felt. She knew she wasn't hallucinating because Mike also saw the figure. "I don't know, Mike, but it's not human. I saw it in the mirror before, in that back room." The two decided to leave the room, leaving the mysterious figure behind. They were more and more determined from that ominous place, regardless of the storm outside. However, when they got back to the car, the situation became even stranger. The vehicle appeared to be losing power, and the engine began to fail. The car's interior lights flashed intermittently, creating a nightmarish atmosphere. Sarah tried to start the car, but nothing happened. The doors were locked, and they were trapped inside the vehicle. Panic began to set in as they realized something terrible was happening. It was then that the whispering, chilling voice echoed through the station again. "You can't leave. This is the place where time repeats itself." The friends turned to find the source of the voice. The shadowy figure had emerged from the shadows once again, watching them with lifeless eyes. Mike looked at Sarah, his face pale with fear. "We need to get out of here, Sarah, anyway." Sarah agreed, her voice shaking. "We have to find a way out, Mike, no matter what it is." The story of the abandoned gas station was turning into a terrifying nightmare as Sarah and Mike faced the unexplainable. They were determined to find a way to escape that place and discover the truth behind the mysterious cycle that seemed to imprison them. Sarah and Mike were now inside the car, trapped and surrounded by the shadowy figure who seemed determined to keep them at the abandoned gas station. The whispering voice echoed inside the vehicle, sending shivers down both their spines. "You can't leave. This is the place where time repeats itself," the shadowy figure repeated. Panic gripped Sarah and Mike, but they knew they needed to stay calm to find a way to escape. Mike tried to open the door, but it was locked and wouldn't budge. The car's engine continued to fail, as if it were under the control of supernatural forces. "What do we want from you?" Sarah finally managed to ask the hooded figure, her voice shaking. The shadowy figure remained silent for a moment, as if she was considering the question. Then she finally replied in a whispering voice, "I don't want anything. This place is a prison for those who dare stop here." Sarah and Mike exchanged glances, trying to understand the meaning of the figure's words. It was as if the gas station had its own will, imprisoning anyone who dared enter its domain. Determined to find a way out, they looked around the car for something that could help them. That's when Sarah noticed a folded piece of paper in the car's glove compartment. She picked it up and unfolded it, revealing an old map with illegible notes and strange symbols. "Look at this, Mike," Sarah said, showing her friend the map. "That seems to be important somehow." Mike examined the map carefully. Some of the symbols appeared to relate to the gas station, while others pointed in unknown directions. "This could be a clue, Sarah. Maybe it will help us understand what's going on here." Determined to uncover the truth behind the gas station mystery, Sarah and Mike began following the directions on the map. The shadowy figure watched as they exited the car and ventured into the abandoned gas station once again. As they explored the station, they noticed more strange symbols on the walls and dusty shelves. Each symbol seemed to hold a clue, but what they represented remained an enigma. As they investigated, Sarah noticed that one of the symbols on the map corresponded to a locked door at the back of the station. She pointed to the door and said to Mike, "I think we found something important in there." Mike agreed, and together they approached the door. Sarah tried to turn the doorknob, but it was locked. It was then that she noticed one of the map symbols carved into the wood of the door. She touched the symbol, and something extraordinary happened. The door unlocked and slowly opened, revealing a deep darkness in front of it. Sarah and Mike exchanged glances, hesitant about what they might find inside the room. The shadowy figure was now behind them, watching silently. With renewed courage and determination, Sarah and Mike decided to enter the dark room, following the mysterious clues on the map. What they discover inside could finally reveal the secret of the abandoned gas station and the key to its release. The story of the gas station was about to get even deeper as Sarah and Mike ventured into the unknown, facing riddles and challenges that would lead them into a world of dark mysteries and hidden secrets. Sarah and Mike entered the dark room, with only the dim light of their cell phones to light their way. The door slowly closed behind them, leaving them in almost total darkness. The air was filled with an old, musty smell. As they advanced into the darkness, they noticed that the room was filled with strange objects, similar to those they saw on the shelves at the gas station. Broken dolls, dusty books, and aged photos covered the tables and walls. "What is this place?" Mike whispered, feeling uncomfortable with the oppressive atmosphere in the room. Sarah wasn't sure, but she knew they were closer to unraveling the mystery that trapped them. She continued to follow the clues on the map, which led her to a wooden door at the back of the room. The same mysterious symbol from the map was carved on the door. She touched the symbol again, and the door opened silently, revealing a dark corridor ahead. Sarah's heart was racing, but she was determined to find out what was going on. As they moved further down the hallway, they noticed more strange symbols on the walls, all leading in the same direction. Every step they took seemed to take them deeper into the mystery of the abandoned gas station. Finally, they arrived at a large room lit by a dim, gloomy light. In the center of the room was an antique mirror, similar to the one Sarah saw in the back room of the gas station. Sarah and Mike approached the mirror, observing their distorted reflections in the blackened surface. The shadowy figure that had stalked them all night was there, watching them with empty eyes. "What do you want from us?" Sarah finally demanded, her voice shaking with fear. The shadowy figure remained silent for a moment before she finally responded, "I don't want anything. This place is a prison for those who dare stop here." Sarah felt a wave of frustration. She needed answers, not meaningless riddles. "What does it all mean? Why are we stuck here?" The shadowy figure finally began to reveal the gas station's dark history. Many years ago, the station was operated by a man named Samuel, who was obsessed with rituals and black magic. He used the post as a place to carry out his dark experiments. However, his experiments went horribly wrong, and he unleashed a curse that trapped the gas station in an eternal cycle, trapping all those who dared stop there. The shadowy figure was the manifestation of the curse, meant to keep intruders in place. Sarah and Mike realized the only way to escape was to break Samuel's curse. The shadowy figure revealed that the only way to do this was to find Samuel's diary, which contained the secrets of the curse. Determined to find the diary and break the curse, Sarah and Mike left the mirror room and returned to the dark hallway. They followed the symbols on the map until they reached a locked wooden door. Sarah touched the map symbol on the door, and it opened, revealing a room filled with dusty books and old documents. In the center of the room was an old desk covered in papers. They began to search the room, looking for Samuel's diary. That's when Mike found an old book hidden under a pile of papers. It was Samuel's diary, full of obscure notes and rituals. With the diary in hand, they returned to the mirror room, where the shadowy figure was waiting for them. Sarah began reciting the curse-breaking words as described in the diary. As the words echoed in the room, the shadowy figure began to dissipate, slowly disappearing like black smoke. The feeling of oppression that hung over the abandoned gas station dissipated, and the storm outside began to calm down. When the shadowy figure finally disappeared completely, Sarah and Mike knew they were free. The curse had been broken, and the abandoned gas station was no longer a nightmarish place. With a sigh of relief, they left.